Hey guys, welcome in this new video. I hope that all of you are doing great. So in this video, we will look at how you can actually make a lot of money in your trading career. And basically we will evaluate different scenarios together that you can take and eventually achieve big numbers. So you will see what we will do, but it will be a very interesting video. So just before that we get into it, as always, make sure that you leave a like under the video. I would really appreciate it. And also don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I see that a lot of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so make sure that you are, because I'm always trying to bring you guys as much value as possible. And yeah, you just don't want to miss any other videos that will come out, you know, as simple as that. So in this video, we will take a look at basically the compounding effect and how you can basically apply this concept to your trading account. And as I said, just make sure that you understand this overall idea, and we will see how it affects your performance and basically how long it might take for you to reach your goals and to really have a realistic expectation. All right, so that's really important. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm on the Forex 21 website. I'm not affiliated with them or whatever. I don't even know what's on this website. I'm just using it for this specific tool that they have there, which is Forex Compounding Calculator. And so this will basically be able to give you a perspective of how much money you can make over the long term with your trading account and what kind of results you can eventually achieve. So if we look at what we have here, we have the starting balance, we have the percent per month that you will make on your account, and you have the number of months that it will take. So very three simple parameters. Of course, there are softwares that can go, you know, a lot deeper into this and have, you know, a lot more things that are taken in consideration. Here, the idea is just to have a basic overview of what we might be able to achieve on the long term and kind of give us an idea of how long it may take, you know, to make, let's say, $100,000 or $1 million and things like that. So we will run over a couple of different scenarios together, and I will kind of just share with you guys my thoughts and what I think is possible and what I think is realistic and the type of goals that you can set for yourself and things like that. So let's get right into it. So first of all, starting balance, how much money are you going to start with? So of course, this will depend on you and your own personal situation. For some people, it might be 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, maybe even more than this. So it really depends on you. Of course, the smaller that your capital is, the longer it will take for you to achieve big numbers. So it's important to take this in consideration and once again be realistic with this, right? If you just start trading with $500, you're not going to become a millionaire in just, you know, 2 years, for example, only with your trading account, or it's very, 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 very unlikely, right? So it's important to be realistic with this, because if you're not realistic and if you are way over, you know, optimist, the problem is that you will have false expectation, and it might even influence your trading decisions and how much you risk you take on your trades and things like that. So it's really not good, you know, to over risk and, you know, just kind of think a little bit crazy, right? It's important to just, you know, keep it as realistic as possible, to have, you know, a real plan basically that you can follow over the years, and eventually you will achieve your goals, right? So if we, you know, start with, let's say, $5,000, right? So I'm just picking this number randomly. I think that it's realistic to start with $5,000. As I said, for some people it may seem like a lot of money, for some people it may seem not like a lot of money, right? So it depends on your situation, but I think that $5,000 is a great starting point in your trading. After that, how much can we make per month? Now, this is where it might get a little controversial, because different traders have different opinions, right? Personally, what I think is realistic would be 5%. Okay, so of course you could make more than this, but it really depends, you know, on you and your results. It depends on your win rate, it depends on your risk reward ratio, it depends on how many trades that you take, it depends on your risk management, it depends of a bunch of characteristics. So it's really hard to just generalize a number like this, but I would say that 5% in general is a pretty good target to have. Now, some traders may be able to do more, some traders may be able to do less. It really just depends on you. Personally, if I look back at my trading, my best year was 2019 so far. And I've been able to more than double my account during the year. So it means that, you know, let's say around 10% per month, that was around what I was making on average. Of course, there were months that were less than that, there were months that were more than that, so it's just an average. But this is what I've been able to make during 2019. But keep in mind, guys, I have a lot of experience. I'm doing this full time now, and it was just a very, very good year. It doesn't mean that I will be able to make this, you know, very constantly year after year after year. So that's why I say that 5% I think is very realistic. But as you guys can see, you can make a lot more than this, right? If you are very good, and if you have maybe, you know, a 2% risk per trade, you might be able to make more than 5%. And so this might go even faster for you, which is the nice thing, of course. But let's just say 5% to stay realist. And number of months. Now, as I said, you know, the goal of being a trader is to do this for the long term, right? I'm not trying, well, at least for me, I'm not trying to make a lot of money fast, right? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So personally, I love trading, you know, it's my passion. I just love it so much. So I'm not going to stop anytime soon unless I don't love it anymore, right? But I really do enjoy trading, and I think that I will keep, you know, doing it for the long term. And I think that this is the perspective that we need to have to be, you know, a successful trader. So the number of months, really what I think is interesting to look at is maybe 5, 10 years, maybe even 20 years, right? If you really have a long-term vision. But let's just say 10 years, right? We will see what you can achieve with this. So you start with 5,000, 5% per month during 10 years. What are we going to get? Well, at the end, as you guys can see, we can scroll down, and we basically see month after month after month. And at the end, we have $1.7 million. That's pretty good, right? And that is if you start with $5,000. Now, as I said, we can, you know, play around with these numbers and try different things to have, you know, different expectations and see what is possible to achieve and things like that. What I think is good to do is that if you have a small trading account, you can start with this, right? So whether you have 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, you can start with this. But what would be good in this situation is that you try to add a certain amount every month into your account so that it goes faster at the beginning. Because as you guys can see, this is the compound interest, right? Like it grows faster and faster and faster in terms of the money, because there is more and more money into the account. So the beginning of the account is really where it takes a long time before that it takes off, right? And so if you can, you know, put a little more money month after month into your account, it will speed up the first couple of years, which are the longest, and it will just make your results even way better than this, you know? Because if you look at the results that you get, well, if you start with 5,000, even if you make 5% per month, which is pretty good, as I said, you will end up the year with 9,000, which is pretty good, but I mean, it's still just $4,000 during the year, so it's not that much money, right? So if you put a little more money into your account every month, let's say $500, it will speed up the whole process, you know? So if you put $500 during, let's say, the first year, you will already be at 11,000, right, in your total capital, and you will make money on this 11,000. Then after that, the second year, you also put, let's say, $500 per month, so you might end up at 20,000, and then you might end up the next year at 35,000, 50,000, 75,000, right? 6 figures and things like that. So you see, the idea is that if you have a small trading account, what is good to do is to put a little more money into it month after month after month, so that it simply speed up the whole process, especially at the beginning, because this is the longest period. So if we kind of, you know, as I said, just speed up this process and kind of, you know, just move on from the first couple of years, let's say now that you have a 20,000 capital to trade with, which is a pretty good capital. I mean, I think that it's a great amount to trade with, and you can generate pretty good returns. We will see this. So $20,000, right, as your starting capital, let's say after 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, whatever, how long it takes you. Then you make 5% per month. So let's not change that. Of course, we could go, you know, a little higher if we want to, but the goal is to be realist, right? Let's not go too crazy here. And for 10 years, right? So let's see where we end up. Boom, right? If we go down, what do we have? We have $7 million. That's pretty good, right? You start with $20,000, and all you need to do is make 5% per month. That's it, you know? Don't try to go crazy. Don't try to make those 20 or 50% per month. That's not trading. This is gambling, right? You need to stay realist with your trading account. And so, of course, as I said, this is just an overview. So it might not be really, 7 million after 10 years, but it might be somewhere around that. It might be less, it might be more, but it gives you a good idea. And so you see, the reason why I think that this is interesting to do is because it really shows you that you don't need to have those crazy returns, You just need to have a relatively good capital. But as I said, you can build up this capital in the first couple of years. Then you make 5% per month, or even less if you want to be very conservative, and you just do this constantly and you arrive at pretty impressive results. It's pretty good. 7 million after 10 years, right? It's not bad. It's averaging $700,000 per year. Of course, now it's not going to be like that because, as I said, most of the money will come at the end of this 10 year, but you can average this in your mind if you want, and that gives you a very nice amount to live with. And we could even go, for a longer period, or we can even start with a bigger capital. Once again, it depends on you. And so you can do this at home. I really suggest you guys to, just play around with this a little bit so you have a good idea basically of what are your own goals. And yeah, so the only thing as well that I think is important here to keep in mind is that, of course, first of all, if you do trading full time and if that's your only income, it means that you will need to take out money of the account every month to live off of your trading. And so if really that's your only income, then it will be much, much, much slower to actually get this type of, exponential growth because you always take out money, which plays pretty much against the compounding effect, right? So that is something to really take in consideration. And also the second thing is that you need to pay taxes on your trading profits, which means that this will also affect your performance and it might not look exactly like that. But once again, it's to give us an idea. So this is for 10 years. If we go even more than this, 20 years, let's say, right? This could be interesting. If you are just like me and if you love trading, you will probably do this for a very, long term. And that will give us, of course, much bigger numbers. So here, if we do for 20 years, well, we arrive at pretty impressive numbers, as you guys can see. So we have $24 million, right? So after 20 years, you make $24 million if you started with 20,000. It sounds really impressive, but if you just look at what it is, it's just 5% per month. That's it. It's not that complex. Now, one more thing I would like to also mention here that I think is really important for you guys to understand. When we do this kind of exercise, the goal is to give us a perspective, right? To motivate us and to really make us see what is possible to achieve in the future, which is, well, pretty big numbers in reality. Now, what's important to do is not to fix yourself a specific goal and to say that you have to hit this goal every month, because that is a wrong mindset. So for example, here we are doing 5% per month, but as I said, some months it will be smaller than 5%, some months it will be bigger than 5%. It really depends, but don't tell yourself that you need to make this 5%. It's really not good. It will play with your mind. You will start to overtrade, you will start to over risk just to meet this goal. And what will happen is that you will most likely just, lose your money. And of course, that's what we want to do, right? So don't pressure yourself too much with placing goals, all right? It's really important to do this, right? Keep it simple. Just the only thing you have to do to become and to be a profitable trader over the long term is focus on the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, right? When you trade, the only thing you should be thinking about is making the best decisions. Those numbers that you see here, right? Making millions and millions in trading or growing your account or living from trading, all of these, okay? It's just the outcome of doing good trading. So if you focus on your trading, if you focus on making good decisions, on making good trades, and just on doing this constantly, your account will grow, right? It's the outcome, it's the result of being a good trader. So it's important to not focus on this, right? Focus on your trading, focus on making good decisions, and this is what will happen, all right? So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, the goal was kind of to share with you guys this perspective. And of course, we can look at different scenarios. We could have said that you start at 1,000 or, even more than this if you have the money for that. It really depends on you. But do this exercise at home, try it for yourself, see what you can achieve. And I'm telling you, it will really motivate you because it really gives you this long-term vision where you're like, okay, if I just be consistent, if I just keep doing at it, if I just make, a couple of percent per month, I can eventually achieve really big numbers on the long term. Now, the question is, are you going to be patient enough to do this, or are you going to over risk and try to become very rich fast? Well, the reality is that this is what most people end up doing, and of course they lose money. That's why 90% of people lose money in trading. But if people were a little more patient, the number would surely be a lot less, and there would be a lot more profitable traders. But that's not it. So if you want to be a profitable trader, well, I think that being patient is really important. And if you enjoy trading in the first place, if you love the game, you don't need to go fast because you just love it, right? So there's no need to rush everything, because what you're doing right now is already what you love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, if you did, you can share it around, and don't forget to leave a like under it. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, so on that, take care, trade with care, manage money well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.